Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Kat's Cottage. I've already got me a nice cup of coffee this morning. Nice and hot. And I'm going to go in the kitchen there and set up my crock pot for the day. And we'll see how that goes. Okay? Righty. Now, what I've done is last night I put some red beans in the water to soak. And they don't really look like they've come up enough. So I'm going to leave them there a little bit. I've got hours before I have to put it in there. Got my crock pot on high, and I've got a couple strips of bacon in there with some water, and I'm trying to let that come up. And in the meantime, I'm going to come right here. Boy, can y'all believe these bananas my husband picked up? Look like grass. But I'm going to get me a yellow onion. Yeah, yellow onion. Step here and get a knife. I'm not going to use all this onion. I'm just going to use part of it. And I'm not going to I'm going to put the rest in the refrigerator because I might use the other part of the onion later tonight with the beans that I'm cooking, raw. There we go. There we go. Now, I'm just going to use part of this. This I'm cutting, see I'm cutting little strips the opposite way. The onion's going around, of course, already cut. And so I'm just cutting right through it halfway, real thin. So it'll be cut up. Come over here. Bring you up a little bit. Just a little bit more. There we go. And then I'm going to cut across the top of it. Normally I would just put the whole onion in, but since I'm trying to save a little bit on groceries, I will just use half of that onion. Of course, like I said, I might use the rest of this tonight. Okay, now let me show you what I do with what I have left over so it won't dry out in your refrigerator or make the refrigerator, smell. I'll sit my knife down, my onion down, and let me show you. Now, right down in here, in my refrigerator drawer, I have it all the way in the drawer. I have an onion bowl. It's a bowl, and the reason I have it is because I don't want the onions going all around in there and dropping these skins off all over the refrigerator. This keeps them in the bowl. I keep the net here, and I just, tear it open, and I take an onion out. Now, sit this right back down into my drawer, bottom drawer, and I have a bag. And this bag here goes in and out of the refrigerator all the time, and never leaves unless it gets, needs to be replaced. And this is how I keep my onion, like that. You could put a rubber band around it if you wanted to, but I don't. And I just put it right back into the bowl. And then when I bring it out and I use this onion, I put this bag back on top of those onions. Just lay it right back down in there, just like that. Now, okay, and these peelings that I cut off, I'm going to put them over here in my compost bag. Now, this crock pot, oh, where'd y'all go? Gotcha. I'm going to put the lid right back on it. And this is the cloth that I keep with my crock pot. I only change it when it gets really dirty. I change it out, and I got my spoon holder here. And I'll let this cook. And it's set on high. I'll let this cook, you know, for an hour or so. I am up pretty early. Let me rinse my knife off. Okay. Now that's done. That's all for tonight. So I'll put y'all right back here. Now, got that ready for tonight. There we go. Okay. I'm sitting on my nice electric throw. It's nice and hot. Got my fire going here. So I'm nice and cozy. And I got an electric one right here that's blowing. It's blowing so good, it's blowing my tablecloth at the bottom of my tablecloth. But anyway, let me see if that fire's crackling. No, I heard a cricket. So I just got it going on, don't I? Make sure my coffee's hot. Whoop, you went out on me, messing around. I let it go out. Never in my days did I ever think I'd be sitting by an electric heater that showed artificial flames or television. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Oh, well, I know what's going on. It's these cheap matches. They don't have, but barely have anything on the end. Come on now. Well, I didn't want to light that last one. Let me get that old match and light it up. Okay, now. This is that doggone 3-wick thing that I don't particularly care for that much. Go. Now I got her lit there. We're all lit up. My matches back here. Okay. Well, what a day yesterday. My husband's son's back in the hospital again. You know, I was questioning him about that, asking, why is this suddenly happening? And I don't know. I asked him a couple of questions about who was taking care of him and who was, you know, and he said the only thing that's happening is this nurse. And so I said, why don't you take a look at that a little closer? You know, she may be tired of him. She might be wanting to get rid of him. You know, the minute an autistic person dies in one of those homes, it's no big deal. They just replace it with another one. Every time I hear about one of them passing, they're replaced right away. They're after that money, and that's not an easy job. I'm not saying that, but there is a possibility that she may be trying to get rid of him. Either my husband to take him somewhere else, or for him to pass. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't want to blame anybody for anything. When you have a tube put down through your stomach, all the way down through into your intestine, you're uh, likely not to be here that much longer. If it's not kept clean. And I know there was one time there he said that he hadn't eaten 4 days. A person can't go for 4 days and not eat. That's what's going to happen. He's going to shut down or something. But anyway, he's started looking at it, started noting it down in his little notebook to see what's going on. And she's new. She's new. So, you might ought to check and see where she came from, and if anything happened where she came from. Those things happen. I know maybe you're saying, well, you watch too much movies and news about all this. You watch too much. You imagine too much. But it don't hurt, especially if a person is in the hospital more than they're in their home. And, but yeah, or I don't know, or even talk to the doctor and see what he thinks. So, but anyway, he's back over there. It's about a mile from this house, and where he lives, a couple blocks over. So it's easy for my husband, to go over there. But anyway, we missed the bullet again. That bad weather, that tornado weather, and I hope everybody that looking at this did too. Probably if you didn't, you wouldn't be looking at it. That's kind of a dumb statement, wasn't it? But yeah. My husband says, now I hope doesn't become untrue. He says because we're so close to the Mississippi River that we're on a bluff. Mississippi, all the land around Mississippi River is like bluffs, big high bluffs. He said that actually protects us from a lot of these storms, and they have bypassed us a lot. And now once in a while we get hit here, but it's bypassed us a lot. And so maybe that's a true statement. Maybe he knows something I don't know. Of course, I'm sure he knows a lot that I don't know. But anyway, we missed that tornado warning that came through. It got real hot. Oh, this house got sickeningly hot. I was miserable, and the house was hot. I kept trying to cool it off and everything, and it was like the air was drawing, so I knew something was close. So I thought, oh goodness, just keep away from us. And the wind's still blowing now. I don't know if you can hear those chimes out there banging and clanging. But I just hope everybody's safe and their home is safe. So, what about that fire in Manhattan, in that apartment block? They have a block of apartment buildings, and it said it caught on to some of the buildings besides. And I just I can't imagine living there, and maybe some of you do, but there were people in other apartments down, up just as high, with the windows open and looking out. and hanging out over the windows. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my legs here. I'm going to faint if y'all don't get back in. I can't do that kind of stuff. So, oh my gosh, I don't know that I could live like that. I don't know. When I went to Boston, there were buildings that I walked by to go to the Boston Marathon. No, I walked back. I rode a bus there. They took us on a bus, but I walked some back. And I saw buildings that had a stoop of a stair. And then they had what I read about and heard about was 5 or 6 families would be living in that, which really looked like a condo here. They have double condos here where there'll be a condo on each side and they're put together. And but yeah, there's 5 or 6 different families living in the house, in that building. Oh my gosh. And there's no yard, there's no nothing. You come out and then you're in the street there in the city. And I thought, okay, these people are living way up, and they have a hall, of course, and a stairwell and probably elevator. And I thought another whole world. I'm all stressed out when I'm in a hospital trying to get out of it because I hate being in the hospital in a building. Um, I guess it's just the coast in me, living in the coast. I'm used to air, real air, and freedom, moving around. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I could live in a concrete world. I guess I would if I was born into it. I would be used to it, and I would understand it. But just, I don't know. That word rat race is not far from that, is it? But they can't help it. That's where they live. That's the way they were raised. They used to hanging out a window like that. My legs still go out from under me thinking about it. I mean, they were like halfway leaning out. Oh my God, look at the building. Um, and I hadn't looked this morning to see if anybody was hurt or anything. Um, I know buildings catch on fire in cities and places. I know they do on, bad electrical and all that. But it's just really strange. Don't you think it's strange that these workplaces are blowing up and catching fire? These factories in different places, and then here and there's more fires. Um, don't you think that's unusual? I do, and I think they're being started. And they didn't start until these immigrants. I don't care if it hurts y'all's feelings or not. They didn't start until these immigrants started slipping in here. Well, I've been saying something, and my husband said, "Oh, they can't do that. They can't do that. Well, all it takes is one person for it to happen to, and then the word gets around. Oh, you know, oh, you can't do that." And these people are saying, "Oh, that wall stops the interference of animals." Well, guess what? Animals uh, will figure it out. They'll figure it out. They'll turn around and go back too, or they'll figure another way around. Uh, but what I kept saying, I said, it's not going to work. And of course, they'll figure this out too. It's not going to work until they electrify the fence. Now, Young said, wow, it's not going to work until they do it. And like I said, all it takes is a couple of times. I don't know if you've ever been electrocuted when you've worked. I had a trimmer one time and I cut this wire and I really got a good shock. And I got my butt away from there. So, and it keeps animals back. It keeps dogs in. Had an electric fence for the dog I had. Um, Well, I didn't have it. My husband had a big Malamute when I met him, and we put up electric fence to keep the Malamute in because it decided to start jumping the 4-foot chain fence all the time. So, and of course, after a while, he decided that electricity wasn't nothing but a little joke, so he took that on too. But anyway, that's another story. Um, oh well, I'll just finish telling you the story of the dog. How about that? So, after several almost attacks to me from the dog, oh, um, the dog didn't like females, and I thought it was just me for a while until I had company over, and the dog began to act really, real aggressive. We were out on the patio, real aggressive to this lady that was here, and then I knew it's not me, it's not me. And then he acted aggressive toward Vic's daughter when she came over one time in the back. So the dog didn't like women. So I thought, well, no matter what, this dog's going to get me eventually. It tried several times. Um, so one day, back then, I was doing all kind of things. I decided to get a sander out and sand these steps. They needed sand, and they had all kind of dog scratches and claws on it. So I'm going to sand the steps, and I'm going to restain them. And that's what I was in the process of doing. And the dust from it was, I opened the front glass door, attached it open so the dust would go out, and, I could breathe. And anyway, I felt something looking at me, and I looked up, and that dog was just looking at me and kind of growling a little bit. And I thought, oh no, this is not good. So I knew that my husband had been given cheese. So I walked back to the kitchen. It was following me. And we're talking about a dog. This is the biggest Malamute, I think, ever on record. I wish he had taken a picture of it. Its head was bigger than mine. Its face was bigger than mine. It stood up like the height of a wolf. I don't know if you've ever been beside a wolf to know how tall they are. They're taller than they look on them videos. I'll tell you that. Anyway, there was some block cheese in the refrigerator. I got that out, and it saw what I had, and it was following me then for that. And I walked it out, back down the front steps, out the front door, and around to the side gate, which was nothing. He could just go back over that. But I gave him a little piece of the cheese, and then I chunked the rest into the backyard, enough for me to get back around, and lock the front door, get in and lock the door. That's what I did. And of course, I called and told him he needed to come home, that his dog had come in the house and he was going to be loose. So, but anyway, where I'm going with this story is what I really wanted to tell you was he told me he knew the dog was getting pretty bad, reverting back to wild. He told me, he said, well, he'd dig deep holes all the time, enough where he could get down in them and stuff. And always having to fill the holes back up. And so he was digging a hole again. I'd never seen him do it, but he dug another hole. This was big, big hole. Big. Well, I guess about as big as this table here. Not to go in, but underneath. And I told him, I said, you know what? I got the strangest feeling. That dog's digging that hole for me. Now, how about that? He said, yeah, he's doing something. So he handed me his gun one day, and he said, his pistol, and he said, I'm gonna go out and mess with the dog a little bit. I'm gonna beat him and blah blah blah. Okay. I said, what do you want me to do? Kill him? He said, no, I want you to stand at the back door with a gun. And if he attacks me, the dog didn't like if he was friendly as could be, and the minute you went against him, oh no, he turned on you. So I stood there with the pistol, ready to kill the dog. Anyway, so before I knew it, he told me, he said, well, I've given the dog away to this man that built him a house out in the country, and he needs a guard dog. I said, wow, okay. So he took the dog to him, gave it to him. But that wasn't the end of the story. Some lifetime later, 6 months later, it calls him up and said, well, how's the dog doing? He coming around with you all right? And he said, no, I had to kill that dog. He said, I got up under the house working on a pipe that had cracked. I was up under there working, and the dog wouldn't let me out. He was growling and trying to bite me. He wouldn't let me out from under the house. He said, so I had to get my wife to come around to the other side of the house and push the gun in, and I shot him. He said, and your dog, I shot him and buried him. And when Vic told me that, I thought, oh, what a relief. I just kept saying, you shouldn't give the dog away. You should have maybe it put to sleep, because it's going to kill somebody. It's going to hurt somebody really bad. And but yeah, he shot and buried the dog. Huge dog, huge dog. That dog he'd actually really gone back to wild. He was, Malamute. And anyway, how did I get off on dog stories? I don't even know what I was talking about. To talk about, I need a phone that will talk back. And I've seen that live stuff, and you can't keep up with it. I mean, it just rolls. And I can't hardly see good, and I'm using just a little phone here. No, I can't. I think I'll pass on that. Actually, all of this has gone by me. This video and stuff, it's gone by me. I think I might have waited too late to get started with it. I should have started younger, so I could understand all that. It's not just that you're old and you look wrinkly and you look like crap. That's not it. It's the fact that you can't manage the computer part of it. You know. Anyway, I don't even know what the heck I was talking about. I'm at 27 minutes. Anyway, I got my crock pot on, and I'm gonna might fix some rice with those beans. Put some rice on your plate, put the beans on the top, the red beans, and then put a little chili pepper. Uh, Shake it. Yeah, I am getting old. Ground chili pepper on the top. Uh, Maybe some cornbread, huh? That all sounds pretty good. Uh, but anyway, it's been good talking to y'all, and I don't know what I was talking about before I started talking about dogs. Um, but I'll talk to y'all again, and y'all have a great day, okay? Bye-bye.